Welcome into Steelers Talk, Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry. Today, on today's slate of Steelers rumors, I'm going to be talking about Pittsburgh re-signing James Pierre. I want to hit that real quick. And then we're going to be going over all of the pro days here that the Steelers have attended and some rumors that have come out because of the teams that they are visiting. And then also, should the Steelers let Alex Highsmith walk? There is a certain Steelers personality that thinks the Steelers are planning to let him go. And then finally, we're going to wrap things up with some Jonah Williams rumors, and I'm going to tell you why him being traded could be good for the Steelers, even if it's not to Pittsburgh. But first, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. We are the fastest growing Steelers channel here on YouTube, and that is for a reason, guys. I promise you right now, if you click that subscribe button, you love the Pittsburgh Steelers, the only thing that you're going to regret is that you didn't subscribe sooner. All right, guys, now let's get into the news. Was going to do it yesterday, put out a short on YouTube yesterday, but I wanted to address this here on the actual channel here for just a second. James Pierre, backup cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, played quite a bit last season, has signed a one-year deal to come back and play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. James Pierre is one of my favorite backup cornerback options in the National Football League, and I think that he's a really solid player. You know, like last year when Ahkello Witherspoon got hurt and Levi Wallace got hurt, and you needed to have these guys that could go in there and play quality football. James Pierre did that. He made some really, really impressive plays. He had one of the most impressive interceptions I ever saw against, I believe it was the Colts last year on Monday Night Football. He's somebody that does a really good job. He's very solid, and although he's not going to be necessarily a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if the Steelers get in trouble with the injury bug, he is somebody that can come in and play good football. It's good to have him back in the black and gold for 2023. Go ahead right now and like this video to welcome James Pierre back to the city of Bridges. It's liking every single video here on the channel, guys. That is a free and easy way to support the channel if you're already subscribed. It helps tell the YouTube algorithm to push our videos out to other Yinzers. So if you want to help the channel grow here, do your part. Click that thumbs up icon and like today's video. So now the Steelers attended the Iowa State Pro Day yesterday instead of the USC Trojans Pro Day, and that really stirred the pot a little bit because a lot of people were expecting Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan to go visit USC to go take a look at Jordan Addison. But instead, they went and took a look at Iowa State and some of the prospects that they have there. Somebody that's really interesting is Xavier Hutchinson, a slot wide receiver from Iowa State, somebody that is a bigger guy. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He's somebody that is an incredibly smooth route runner. This guy reminds me a lot, actually, of Adam Thielen. He's not going to be the fastest guy in the world whatsoever, but I think that he's a really sharp route runner. I think he's got good hands. He plays with good size, and he is a good blocker in the run game. And yesterday, it was noted by multiple media members that Mike Tomlin was watching Xavier Hutchinson particularly closely, which might tell you that the Steelers are looking to add a bigger slot receiver in this year's NFL draft. Right now, they have Calvin Austin III, who's about 5'9", 160, 170 pounds, somewhere in that range, and plain simply, that's not going to do much for you in terms of run blocking, right? On early downs, the Steelers are really going to be trying to establish a power run game. I think because of that, they're going to be trying to add a bigger slot receiver. Xavier Hutchinson, somebody that they could get maybe in the early part of day 3, round 4, round 5, somewhere in that range. He's a good player. I think he's going to be a really solid pro. I cannot wait to see what he can do in the National Football League. And if the Steelers took him round 4, round 5, I wouldn't mind it one bit. So with them going to Iowa State and checking out Xavier Hutchinson, does that mean that the Steelers are done with Jordan Addison? Are they just saying, we don't want him, we're not going to be even considering taking him? I don't think that's the case. They met with him formally at the NFL Combine. They saw him run routes. They saw him run the 40. They saw him do everything at the Combine. And plain and simply, I think that they think that they have a good feel on Jordan Addison. Now, I think that they have other priorities in round 1. I think they'd rather go offensive tackle, cornerback, maybe safety in round 1. I think that wide receiver is kind of their last resort, and I think that they're kind of hoping he falls to them at number 32 overall. But, you know, not attending his pro day, and by the way, it was raining cats and dogs at USC. It probably wouldn't have been a good trip to go there anyway. But I think Jordan Addison is still on the table for the Steelers, and I think they just wanted to get a better look at Xavier Hutchinson and another player at Iowa State that they might be bringing in. I'm going to reveal what that player is in just a second, but first, let me know in the comment section, would you be happy if the Pittsburgh Steelers took Jordan Addison in round 1? Let me know. Hell yes or hell no in all caps in the comment section right now. Go down there. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to hit you with an ad break here in just a second. When that happens, go into the comment section, find that pinned comment, and answer today's question. So for me, guys, it depends, right? It really does depend on what happens in the NFL draft, right? I think it depends on which guys are taken. Are the offensive tackles still there? Is there a cornerback that they still like there? Is there a defensive lineman that they still like there? For me, I don't think that they're going to take a wide receiver unless they feel like they absolutely have to. So I'm probably, but I think that it really does depend on who's on the board, right? If there's no good offensive tackles, no cornerbacks that I like there, and they take Jordan Addison, hell yes, I'll be happy that they take him. But if there's a player that I think can really help the Steelers in a particular area of need, and they don't take him, and they defer to Jordan Addison to take him, I don't like that whatsoever. So for me, it depends on when they take him and who's available when they take him. So the other player that I mentioned earlier here that they took a real hard look at the Iowa State Pro Day yesterday was Will McDonald IV. And honestly, guys, this guy's one of my favorite edge rushers in this entire class. It's a loaded edge class, but this guy is probably one of my top 5 guys right now. He absolutely lit up the Senior Bowl, and the knock on him is that he can't stop the run. But I don't buy that for 1 second, because at Iowa State, he was forced to play in a three-man front. Okay, this guy's not big enough to be playing in a 3-man front. He's 6'3", 236 pounds, man. This guy is an outside linebacker, and he's pretty much playing like a 5 technique, like a Larry Ogunjobi role. Like, Iowa State completely misused this guy. He absolutely got bullied in double teams, and because of that, teams think he can't stop the run. I think as an outside linebacker, which is what he would be playing in the Steelers system, I think he's going to be a fantastic talent, one of the best pure pass rushers in this year's draft class. So will the Steelers... the big rumor that came out of this is because they were taking such a hard look at Will McDonald IV, will the Steelers let Alex Highsmith walk after the last year of his contract is up here? Now, there's been rumors since literally months ago that the Steelers have been working on an extension with Alex Highsmith. It has not surfaced yet, and because the Steelers have taken kind of a hard look at some of the top edge rushers in this year's draft class, some people are starting to speculate that Alex Highsmith could be out the door after the 2023 season. Andrew Filipponi tweeted this out yesterday, kind of stirring the pot a little bit. He said the Steelers are spending a lot of time scouting edge rushers. Tomlin and Khan at Will McDonald's Pro Day. A first-round talent makes me think a Highsmith extension won't happen, and the Steelers are pivoting. I don't want defense at number 17. So coming up, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. I'm going to tell you whether or not I think Highsmith is going to get that extension done. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor at Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day, and I love it. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted more sustained energy throughout my day and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 combines all of your key health products in one convenient and tasty beverage. And in my line of work, sometimes you have to put in those long hours, especially during NFL free agency. So AG1 helps me feel energized and sharp so I can be at my best no matter how busy my schedule gets. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with 12 ounces of water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. Simple. Easy. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day, which to me is pretty darn good. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality source ingredients, which is a win-win for you and your health. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. So now talking about Alex Highsmith, I still think that an extension is likely. Don't buy into these rumors that Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin are going to let Alex Highsmith walk. I really do think that he will be a Steeler for quite a bit. I think an extension and a long extension is going to get done because, plain and simply, the Steelers don't let go of good players that are still young, right? Alex Highsmith just had his breakout season last year. He's somebody that had 63 tackles, 14 and a half sacks last year. He's got a devastating spin move, man, and I think that he's going to be a really good player in this league for a long time. Now, the thing about Alex Highsmith is that he did have an alarmingly high missed tackle rate last season. So that's what his critics will say about him. But I think that Alex Highsmith, Omar Khan has said it numerous times over the last couple of weeks and months, that the Steelers are really trying to get a deal done with Alex. They think that he's a really great talent. He's obviously a great pass rusher, and I think that when him and T.J. Watt are on the field at the same time, this is a completely different defense and one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Now, the question comes up, what about compensation? What is the compensation going to look like? Because the Steelers are already paying the highest paid edge rusher in the National Football League, and T.J. Watt averages $28 million per season. And then you got Joey Bosa second, Myles Garrett, Khalil Mack, Bradley Chubb. They're all above $20 million at this point. That's the top 5 rank there. And then you look at the next tier, you got Von Miller making 20, and then you got a couple players down there, Landry, Jordan, Jones, and Barrett making just under 20. So if you're asking me, I would expect what Alex is looking for right now is at least 4 years, $80 million. That's what I think that he's looking for right now. He wants to be paid like a top 5 edge rusher, or top 10 edge rusher, that is, right? And I'm not sure if the Steelers really want to budge on that right now. I think the Steelers probably want more of like a 17.5 per year average salary for him. And I think Highsmith views himself as a top 10 edge rusher in the league, and he wants to get paid like it. So it will be interesting to see how these negotiations move forward, but I think that eventually they will come to a deal, whether it's $20 million per year or just below that. I think a deal will eventually get done, and it will get done this offseason. And like I said before, guys, when T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith are on the field at the same time, this defense is one of the most disgusting in the National Football League. These two guys can just get after quarterbacks. Next year, you're going to have a fully healthy T.J. Watt, which should scare the living crap out of opposing offenses. Of course, you got Cameron Hayward coming back. You got some really great stuff here if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, you got Minkah Fitzpatrick and Pat Pete out there in the secondary, and then who knows who else they're going to add to this defense. I really think that this is one of the best pass rushing duos in the National Football League, and I think the Steelers know that, so that's why I think Alex Highsmith is still going to get a deal done, even though they might add an outside linebacker in the draft. So let me know in the comment section right now, should the Steelers extend Alex Highsmith this offseason? Type E if you would give him that extension, or type W if you think he's a bit overrated and he should walk. So now let's finish up this segment here, this show, with some Jonah Williams rumors here. So we've known for a while now, we've talked about it on the show. Jonah Williams, left tackle for the Bengals last couple of seasons, has requested a trade from Cincinnati after the Bengals signed Orlando Brown Jr. in NFL free agency. This is what Rappaport had to say earlier today, this morning. He said the Bengals have had trade conversations centered around left tackle Jonah Williams. Sources say as the interest heats up in the player who has 47 career starts. Williams requested a trade following the signing of Orlando Brown, and since he has heard from several possible suitors. So now Jonah Williams, man, he's somebody that's played in a lot of games. He's still really young. He's still a really good player to some people's estimation. But last year, he definitely took a dip, man. 61.2 overall Pro Football Focus grade, which was a significant dip from 2021 when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. He allowed a ton of sacks, which is not good whatsoever. Some people think that he should make a transition to guard, and I'm one of those people, actually. And because of that, because of the lack of production, because of the inherent risk that comes with getting a guy like Jonah Williams, I'm not trading for him. Plain and simply, I'm not trading for Jonah Williams. Point blank, period. I just think that the risk is too high. I'm not giving up valuable draft capital in order to get somebody with this amount of risk. Now, could it pay off if you trade for him? Sure. I mean, I guess. But I think that there are other safer options and other avenues for the Steelers to take here that don't involve giving up extremely valuable draft capital for a team that's trying to build through the draft, man. But here's something that's really interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. If he gets traded, and if he gets traded to a team that picks before the Steelers in the NFL draft in the first round. It could actually help the Steelers tremendously. I really hope that out of these three teams, this is where Jonah Williams ends up. I hope he goes to the Tennessee Titans, the New York Jets, or the Washington Commanders. These three teams all pick before the Pittsburgh Steelers in this year's NFL draft, and they all need an offensive tackle. They all need a left tackle, so I'm hoping that they're calling the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're saying, we'll take Jonah Williams off your hands, and then come draft night, they're not taking a left tackle. I think that would be fantastic. Now, I mean, that comes with inherent risk, too, that the Steelers might still be interested in Jonah Williams. The Steelers did reportedly have interest in Orlando Brown Jr. before he was signed. So I really hope that the Steelers don't make this really critical mistake because I would rather go out and draft somebody. I think that the top three offensive tackle prospects in this year's draft would be excellent fits for what Matt Canada is trying to do on offense here in Pittsburgh. Peter Skoronski is fantastic. He's my number one guy. I think he's the most technically refined offensive tackle in this year's class. Paris Johnson Jr., straight up natural at the position. He's got the body type that you look for, can play any scheme that you want. And then Broderick Jones, man, his lower half is just, he's built like a sequoia tree, man. Like, this guy is a fantastic prospect as well. Didn't allow a sack in the SEC last year. Might be a little bit more raw than the other two guys, but I think all three of these guys, if the Steelers can land one of these dudes to replace Dan Moore Jr., I think that it would be one heck of a move. And I think that the Steelers would be set up for the future to protect Kenny Pickett. All right, so that's going to do it for today's show, guys. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel here if you haven't already. If you are a real one, make sure to like the video. Really appreciate you guys. Peace.